Today was reminded about I reminded about the time when how I trust this world is such a mess. That I don't trust this world at all because there are too many probability. There are too many like just too many differences in life that at some point we know more about conflict than actual freedom. And I had a hard time engaging with trust because of that. But then it felt more difficult for me to go in life without trust. So I fixed this idea of how I trust more and eventually get into the idea of the kind of love and trust unconditionally. You know that term that we normally hear in the in our reality, like love unconditionally, trust unconditionally. At some point, I just don't know what that is. Like, I know what that means, but I don't really know how it feels because it sounds like a fairy tale to begin with because I don't really know how to love unconditionally. I don't really know how to trust unconditionally. But whenever people promote that idea, it sounds hypocritical, and I don't really trust that. But then I get to learn that I need to be in the space of trust to go more in life. And one thing that made make my way to trust difficult, it's more about the punishment. The idea that there is risk, the idea that there's karma, the idea that this is the destiny itself, and that after effect is actually what threw me off because this world know that in such a degree that you can't do anything shitty. Like you're going to get something back and all this stuff, and you will never find a good thing in life. And it's always like in a cause effect situation. I mean, it is logical to think that way, but we have learned from religion that at some point it has become extreme for us to believe that there is trust and love unconditionally. So the idea that is so simple that it is there for us to embody. Love and trust is unconditionally there. Either we believe it or not because it is there unconditionally. There is no need for a condition for us to arrive in that space for it to exist. It's already everywhere without us touching it. And because we hold the limitation about, okay, we only going to get a good things because we have done good things. We're going to experience bad things because we have done bad things. And it doesn't always work that way. In real life, if you notice some people who is predestined to have a really high luck level will eventually get their ass off the most horrible things in life, no matter what that is. I've seen it happen. It's something that I can't deny because I've seen the level of where people's at. Like, okay, this person's intelligence is actually in this level. This person is beauty is actually in this level. This person's love is actually in this level. I always see the numbers, and I always see people who actually more lucky than myself. And I'm like, I can't beat this person because this person has that percentage of luck that I just don't have, that exceed mine. And my life has always been a hardworking one. So if I don't put any effort, I don't get anything back. It's just part of my notion. There are people out there that they don't even do anything. They get what they want 100% of the time. I'm not that person. So there are those things that lead me into believing that there is no way that this life have this love and trust unconditionally. There's always a condition to everything. But having the idea, having the belief that the world is working that way is not helpful at all. So eventually I change it, the system that to help me believe that idea more instead of rejecting it. And changing the system of punishment is important because that is my way of seeing my system that is in the baseline, in the pillars of the existence of love and trust. There is always the punishment that block the unconditional pathway. So I change the punishment settings in a way that at some point this life is connected to the lines that we can't see with these eyes. There are energy flowing everywhere that to a point that sometimes it doesn't work as logically as we think. So that is the number one way to eventually get rid of the punishment itself. And then I break upon the relationship with the religion itself because I know for a fact that religion use fear to an extreme stage because they need to hold people stay in their belief, stay in their faith. That is the baseline of religion itself. So they use fear in such a degree, but at some point that fear can hold humanity in the balance of our past, but it cannot lead us to the future that we all want to experience. So I eventually let go the idea of religion, let go the idea of karma. No, karma is something different. Karma that the people know these days are something that can break upon. It's not forgiveness, it's acceptance. Like, okay, I have done that. I know that I did it because of I have this belief. I want this thing to happen to me. I want to achieve this goal, and therefore I somewhat twisted the nuance of something inside of me to eventually have that experience. That sometimes is good, but sometimes also bad. And when bad things happen, people label it as karma. But it's just the after effect of something you choose and something you take action. So the idea of karma is broken because of that. If you know why did you choose to do that, what belief, what kind of experience you're trying to get, you eventually break the connection of karma because it doesn't make sense for the world to punish you for something that you no longer believe. That's how I break the punishment of karma. And I understand that. And if you, what is the word for it? Repent. Is it the word? I think repent is actually, if you repent deeper, let me search for the word. Repent means to feel deep regret, sorrow for a wrong you have done and to decide to change your behavior for the better. Exactly, repent. If you already instill that repent inside of you and you choose to do something different, then the universe going to give you something according to your current energy. Now, the past is not erased just because you have done something, just because you choose something. That's for true. That's the truest form of experience is that the past will stay exist until you choose to move forward. And the past can like get you like can meet you in the time where you already changed, but then you as a person hold a different energy to the person who has who holds some anger about what you did. But then it's their choice, it's not yours, so the karma doesn't exist there. It's like a broken system then. It doesn't make sense for it to happen. Now you can still feeling regretful and all that stuff, you feel like angry and all that stuff. But if you are the person who the perpetrator of the situation and you already changed, there's no longer, it's like it's not hitting anymore. It's like it's not connecting to the same level as if you just did it. That level is something that people want to experience. If you are still reacting in the same manner like the version of you who did it, then there is still some lesson to learn. But then if there is none, there is no karma. So I break this idea of punishment from every angle that I can sense. Religion is one of them. How I perceive karma is one of them. How I allow things to flow is also one of them. Just another thing, which is like you understand that time moves in sequence in this reality, particularly. And you understand that the past can happen the way that the karma did, which is like what you did can also be brought into your present because because a conflict happened, a conflict created by two people. It's not just you. So that can happen. But then the flow of experience. What was I lost my train of thought. Wait a minute. It's actually already combined with the karma itself. If we are looking at other things, what would it be? The flow experience. The way we actually allow the experience to happen. There is a sense that I eventually expanded, heightened, level up, which is the idea of fear. Fear is here because at some point it is the power that we can choose to participate or something that we can alchemize. And I choose to alchemize the things more than to play within it. So I eventually understand that, oh, I am in the phase to let this thing go. I'm in the phase of letting this thing in. I'm in the phase of putting this on a pause. I'm in the time. So that heightened senses actually allow me to understand how to help support myself in the time where I need to trust more. Because sometimes, like, you are in the gateway of the next best things, but because you incapable to receive the idea, you eventually block it. Just from the idea itself. Like if you are about to jump into a really great opportunity and if you didn't do it, there is fear contained in that decision. And eventually you either work with the fear or you eventually just let it go. You participate in it. So that is the differences. Understanding that fear is a power that you can play with, whatever you choose to play with. I wonder like if there is anything else because I didn't write the draft for this live stream. So if there is other pillars that I eventually try to break in my own system in order to help myself to trust more. I think like that is three important things that I do in my life in order to help myself to trust more. Now, I am sharing my findings, knowing that you might find yours differently. If you look for from you how you trust that is in some way on par with how you think it should flow within yourself, or you are in need to somewhat level up the system, you can actually find some black holes, some gaps, some fraction, some fragment that is not, what is the word? That is not optimized. Then you eventually find those things and work with it. And that's how I found mine. I look at my system to be somewhat like stack. If I go into the level one, it's automatically go into the level two. And that's like the how it goes. And that's the system that I'm talking. And the first thing that I notice is the religion itself. And then the way I work with the karma. And then the way I work with the karma is something that only the choice, action, decision, and all that stuff. So it's not that difficult. It's more of a logical steps for me. The next thing is actually about allowing the trust to flow in, allowing the timing. No, that's the word. Allowing the timing to flow into my experience, not really rejecting it. That's the only thing that I can think of right now. This is actually really hard because at some point I forgot some because I already integrated enough for me to let the idea of trust move unconditionally in my world. I actually think one more thing, which is the idea of I want to say like spiritually. Oh, this is actually a really difficult one. Mm, Today I just watched Bashar talk about the idea of God. What is God? Who is God? And he talks about the oxymoron of what people believe, meaning that, yeah, God is actually separate from us, but we are living in alignment with God. So that doesn't make sense. It's like two different ideas put into one bowl, and we are forced to believe it is true when it doesn't make sense at all. You cannot be one with the things that you separate. So either they are here or they are not. So the idea of trust is working like that. I, at some point, decided to trust that this world is great, that this world is better, that this world is kind, that this world is positive. That alignment is actually what allowed me to let the trust flow more into my life, because then I shift the idea, the philosophy of what I believe is as true in general, that there is no punishment, that there is no, that this world is only the positive ones, because it can contain some negative, but the overall connection of us is actually positive because we are living in the idea of God, the idea of source, and we cannot be in source if we are not experiencing good. And this world is created with duality, and we understand that the duality is sometimes in the 50-50 level with the goodness, with the good things. So that what fucks us up because we have blocked ourselves to believe that this world is positive. And I was one of those people, unfortunately. And then I just believing that, okay, this is how I want to believe my reality. And the idea of this world is not as bad as I thought. Okay, now that's the idea. That's the fourth thing, is that how you perceive this world as an overall experience. Sometimes based on what we have in the past, we may shift our perspective of what this world, meaning like if I have if I'm still in the time before 2018, before I do my healing stage, I will believe that this world is actually really terrible. There are too many of really terrible things happen in life, and I had one of those things. So the fact and the assumption aligned in such a degree that eventually my reality expressed those reality, those beliefs. That's one of them. So I change it. And I just decided, okay, this is how it will go from now on. I don't care what the world is saying. I'm just staying true with my essence, with with my frequency, because I want to believe that this world is the world that I know. It's not the world that is so foreign. It's not the world that alienated myself in the way. This world contained me and everything else in the balance level, in the meaningful level, in the positive level, as I thought my reality was once. So that helped. The idea of changing the punishment, and then the idea of changing how the overall perspective of this world. And there's so many other systems that actually I fixed along the way. And sometimes like my way of fixing things is so all over the place, because sometimes, okay, I want to actually experience this first, so I'm working on it, unknowingly fixing that spectrum of trust, that eventually I get a higher ratio of how to trust than how to distrust. But also, like, why I actually tell you about this, what I want to talk about this with you is because today my cat hasn't been home for the last 2 days. And the only reason why a female cat doesn't is not home is because they are in heat. And I'm like, I was calling her and she's not coming. And I'm like, in the past, I would be struggling. I would I'll be struggling so much that I don't know what to do, and I'm just like stressed about it. I'm like, where is this cat? I will be stressing my ass off and just like don't know what to do. And eventually I realized, oh, I have systemized my cat to know where is this home, because I never caged them. I never put a barrier between inside and outside, and they can eventually walk outside if they want to, and they can come home when they want to, and they know where the home is. So I already eliminate the idea that this cat doesn't know where is home. That doesn't make sense. And then the next thing is the next issue is the age of the cat. And this cat is already an adult, so that also does not make sense. I didn't put any cage, and it's already an adult, and they already know how my voice sounds like, and we are close. So doesn't make sense that she's not home. And then I remember a couple of days ago, she was doing the cry. The cat that is in heat, that's crying. There's a sign of that. And I'm like, okay, this cat is about to mate. And I'm like, already get the signs. And then the next day, she's gone. She's like nowhere to be found. And I'm like, I don't know where she is. And today too, I haven't found her. So I have this experience momentarily of distress of where is this cat? Oh my god, I'm so panicked. I'm just like being in stress and all that stuff. And I'm like, I already done this. Now, if she's gone, she's gone. I'm not mad. I still trust that the world's going to help her. I still trust that she can find her own food because I also teach her how to hunt. So that trust builds up to a point that she will be home. But I thought about this before the live is that there is a difference between trust and abandonment. Trust is actually still putting work of knowing where the cat is. Now, abandonment is actually just putting things off. It's like, I don't fucking care where the cat is. She will be home, either she will not be home. I don't care what she did, what she will do today. Now, the second option is abandonment, which is what my parents always did in the past and still do. They still don't ask questions. They still don't have the appreciation of asking the question of what is the story. I want to understand. I want to be like involved in your life. So I want to know what the story. If there is no of that thing, it is abandonment. It is a form of abandonment. And I don't think my parents know that they are in this phase of they are abandoning me to a point that exists. Now, I will later on after this live about before the day getting darker, I will go out and actually catch her, like finding her. Now, I still trust that she will be okay, but I also trust myself that I can find her. So there's that difference because she will not be far away from here. And I already hear some cry from the male, so I assume that she is near that. And I'm like, there is trust in that. I don't distrust that she will not be home, but I also trust myself that I can find her. So there's a difference in that. And if I break it down even more, this how to be trust more, trust how to trust unconditionally. I already said it. I already put the idea of the realistic, the basic that you might find in your own system of why you are blocking yourself to trust unconditionally. And it is so. So the idea that I will not be punished because I somewhat somewhat abandoning my cat and if I can't find my cat, it is not my fault because I already did all the action that possibly can lead me to find the cat that is outside. So I don't have the perception about this world is going to fail the cat because I did my best to actually provide this cat with the tools that she needs. And if she decided to not come home, she will find home that will accept her. Or she will be living on the street if that's what she wants. So that trust in unconditionally. And there is a deeper perception of how the world is working. that is not against us, then rather than it is like it is going to punish you, it's going to work against you, and the world going to find its way to eventually get back on you and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't trust that. Let's the world be the world, but let's my world working with the way I want it to be. So, and this is a lot more easier for me because I see it as like the world is growing into something that is more fruitful. It's not limiting itself to such a degree because I believe my world is abundant and it doesn't need me to be so forcefully abundant as the process of it being abundant because it is unconditionally there. And whether I believe it or not, that's also the thing. So I hope you got something from this. Thank you for watching.